Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Assistant Public Defender Allison Mueller here on behalf of Jermaine Shaw. Mr. Shaw, could you state your name for the record, please?
Jermaine Shaw.
Good morning, Mr. Shaw. We're here for a pretrial today, and apparently Mr. Shaw refused to sign his advice of rights form.
I didn't refuse to sign anything.
Oh, that's what the note on my file says.
They think that's an alias. They trying to say they trying to say my real name Adams and destroy Yolanda Adams, but Ice-T little brother, my daddy, and I get his last name, ma'am.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I did not refuse to sign anything. They trying to make me put Adams on there.
All right. Well, thank you for that information, sir.
Yeah.
You on drugs?
Your Honor, I'm not sure if we can proceed without that. The offer is a civil infraction to impeding traffic, I believe, Mr. Barnett. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. So, sir, they're indicating that they're offering you an impeding traffic, which is a civil infraction. That's a fines and costs matter, okay. The fine will be $180. Are you willing to admit responsibility to the impeding traffic, sir?
I ain't paying it. They can give me jail time.
No.
Why?
Because I'm not going to, period, the end.
Well, you can't get jail time for.
Oh, I just owe it. I owe it to them. They get it when they get it.
All right, I would just like to thank you for taking my call, number one. And number two, you should go fuck yourself.
Not the
day. Miss Mueller?
Sorry, Your Honor. I did advise Mr. Shaw that it would be a fines and cost matter when we were in a breakout room. I don't know if maybe we could ask for one more breakout room. That would be helpful to Mr. Shaw. Or if not, we may have to adjourn the matter.
I don't think it's going to make much of a difference with Mr. Shaw that you have another breakout room, to be honest.
You know it don't.
Homie, don't play that.
Meanwhile.
Case number 23W004577.
Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Assistant Public Defender Allison Mueller here on behalf of Mr. Shaw. Mr. Shaw, could you have the jail unmute you again and state your name for the record, please?
Oh, here we go.
You need to have them unmute you, sir. There you go. Now, can you state your name?
Jermaine Shaw. Shawshank Redemption. I have Ice-T little brother's last name.
Don't nobody understand the words that are coming out of your mouth, man.
Thank you. Miss Mueller.
Your Honor, I'd ask for an adjournment here. Mr. Shaw did indicate to me at the end that he would like to just plead to the misdemeanor. He believes he's going to be serving some time, but I'd like a chance to speak with his felony attorney and maybe see what direction they're headed with that before I have him plead to anything on this.
It makes sense. I will adjourn this. Objection?
Oh, no objection. Yeah, no objection to that.
I'll adjourn it. When is his next court date on the felony? Because this case is not holding him in custody. Do you know your next court date, Mr. Shaw?
I think it's the 5th. I think I got one on the 5th and the 7th.
Okay.
The 5th sounds. It looks like March 5th. That's correct.
Right. And that's a what, pretrial?
Yes.
Right.
At 1:30.
I'll put it over to March 13th, 2024 at 9 a.m. We'll see you then, okay, sir?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, but that was awesome.
All right. Mr. Kearns, you represent Mr. Matthews.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Matthews present?
He is not present, Your Honor, but he's still in, I believe, Bahrain at this time.
Okay. All right. Ms. Morris, do you swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I swear solemnly.
All right. Did we ever get the DNA test results complete, or get the results, I guess?
We do not have the results yet, and it was sort of an issue with DDC, not Miss Morris. Now, there's Miss Merrigan is here on the separate case. She didn't test at all. Miss Morris did complete her test, but DDC was unable to complete the testing. So we have a new case number from DDC that Miss Morris unfortunately needs to submit a new sample for, so that we can complete the genetic testing in this case. The case number that she tested for previously, DDC closed out the case, I guess, for some reason. At least that's what they informed me last week. So we need a new test under a different case number.
But she doesn't have to go again. They'll just match up, or she has to go again?
She has to go again, unfortunately. She needs to go in. I provide her with the new case number that she can test under. I know it's a hassle, but she does need to go test under the new case number, and then we can get it done. And I know I spoke with Miss
Let's do them separately. So, okay. So did Mr. Matthews do his testing?
Yeah. The DDC has the sample on file for Mr. Matthews.
Okay.
They just need they need is the sample from Miss Morris, and we should be able to get the results within a couple days once they get her sample.
Ms. Morris, do you have any questions about what you need to do from here?
I would just ask that you would allow us to test through the OAG, being as I already have completed the private test, as well as the one that was put forth by the OAG, which I have the numbers for that. That was completed on the 5th of January in Baton Rouge. I've missed work twice to submit this sample, and I called DDC yesterday and asked them the conditions and which prevented them from completing the testing through the private sample, and they told me that the alleged father did not go to provide new DNA samples. He has.
What about yours? That's what I'm concerned about.
What's that? I asked that we can take the one from OAG. He never went and provided his new sample for the test that you ruled in favor of.
You're off the subject. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm trying to figure out if you did your DNA test and if you need to go again. That's what I'm trying to focus on first, and then we can talk about him. But that's what we're getting the topic. So when you spoke to them, I know there's hearsay, but what Mr. Courage is saying is they destroyed your sample. They don't have your sample or something or other. Sometimes they keep it on file. Now, if it was just January of last month, basically, it may still be there, but they mean to match it up. So you said you had a conversation with them. Did you talk to them specifically about your sample and not his? Because that's what I'm trying to find out.
I talked about both of the samples, Your Honor.
Did they say they couldn't reuse your sample?
They did not elaborate on that. They just said that there wasn't a sample for the alleged father.
But that's not really, that's only half of what we need. So I'm trying to save you from having to go do it again. And you're asking them about his part of it, but you're not asking them about yours. So that's kind of would be really very important for us here.
I've tested twice for this through the state and through the private sample. I've tested twice. So they have my sample on file. They didn't have a new one for the alleged father, Gary. They didn't have one.
Tell me the same thing over and over again. It's frustrating. I remember the case. I understand. I'm trying to figure out if you did your part or if there's a problem, because I don't want to have to make you go again. Mr. Courage is saying you have to go again because there's something wrong. You keep asking them about his sample. I'm asking you about your sample. Did you ask them if they could reuse your sample for this test under the new account number?
I did not.
Okay. I mean, they may be able to. I mean, I know usually when with our cases, they keep the sample on for maybe 3 to 6 months. We're within that time frame. But if they have different account numbers, then that's going to obviously cause a problem. So instead of focusing on whether or not he did his tests, I need to know if you did yours. And when you call them back, tell them, hey, I got to go to work. I can't do this again. Can you match up my sample with this other account number? And then at least I have that. If you don't, if they say they can't, then you're gonna have to go again. I mean, you keep focusing on what Mr. Matthews is or isn't doing. I need to know if you've done your part. And I mean, I know it's confusing and it doesn't make a lot of sense, but as I've explained before, even though we're still using DDC, they have different account numbers, one for the state, one for the private one. That's kind of part of our problem here. I know there's a lot of other problems with the DNA stuff, but that's part of our problem. When you call, stop asking about Mr. Matthews. Ask about whether you need to be retested again. Because according to Mr. Kearns, he thinks you have to go again. So that's where we are. We're stuck there because you haven't asked that question. Can they match up your sample with what you already have done? Do you understand that?
I understand that. I'm asking you if we can use the sample that is already in for the state, being as you ruled favorably for him to submit to be able to take the private sample initially because he had already had it in, he had already had the DNA sample in there. Can we please, I have my DNA sample for the state that he has yet to complete, and the state has that on file. Can he please take one through the state, through the proper government channels?
Do you understand I don't run DDC?
I understand that, but I took one through the state, Your Honor.
Do you understand that the state doesn't run DDC?
Miss Crybaby.
I understand that.
Okay, so I can't demand that DDC do something that when I'm not a boss of them. I can't tell them what to do.
I took two tests, two separate tests, one for the private and one that was issued through the state after our previous hearing.
Okay. Mr. Kearns, can you speak to her saying that she did the private test as well? Or what do you understand the problem there? When I'm not getting too far there with that.
No, it's right. She's the problem is that they just needed for the private test. She submitted a sample previously. It was destroyed, unfortunately, for whatever reason. There's a different case number there that has my client's sample on it. They just, from what DDC has told me, they just need a new sample from Caitlin Moore so they can match up to my client's.
You called recently. She's saying she took two tests, one for the original Attorney General one and one for the private one. Did you have any record of that from them?
I don't have any record from them of anything. Ms. Morris informed me that she, I believe, tested back in December or January. That's what she said at the last hearing, and I don't dispute that she did that. But when I spoke with DDC, what they told me was they unfortunately need a new sample to complete the test. If they can use her old sample, that's great. I'm all for that. But that's not what they told me that they need in order to complete the genetic testing. They told me, I think maybe Monday or Friday, that they just need a new sample to complete the genetic testing when I checked in, trying to get the results.
Okay.
And so I provided Ms. Morris with the case number that DDC provided me for her to complete it. I'll follow up with DDC, and if they're able to use an old sample that they had on file, but it's my understanding that that sample's been destroyed and until they'll need a new one for her.
They may have different rules for different contracts too. I don't know.
They may.
Ms. Morris, the only thing I can provide to you is that that you call DDC and ask them and get it from their own words. That you have to do the test again for this account number. Make sure they have the right account number. Tell them you already did it with the state and ask them if they can reuse your sample so you don't have to take off work again. If they say they can't, then you're gonna have to go again.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, I
think we lost the judge. Hold on just a second.
Thank you, Quinlan. with my new best friend, Bettina.
Really?
To weather. Oh yeah.
I think you two should get a hotel room or something. That's a lot of action going on over there.
Oh, Charlie.
Probably the most action you've had in months, huh?
Yeah, this is awkward. I know.
Probably missed the notification that it was going to do that. I'm sorry. Okay, so we need some more time, I guess, unfortunately. What reset did we looking at, Ms. Etifu?
April 17th at 9 a.m.
Okay, it's like a month and a half from now. Hopefully we'll have it done by then. All right, so Ms. Morris, reach out to DDC, see if they can reuse your sample. Maybe they'll confirm what Mr. Kearns is saying, that they destroyed your sample. I don't know what the answer is on that. My guess would be that they keep the sample for a certain period of time. Maybe they keep it for different periods of time for different people. I don't know. I just don't know that answer because I don't control DDC. So get with them and see if they can reuse your sample or if they have to have you go again. And make sure that if you have to go again, that you use the account number Mr. Kearns provided you, okay?
Can I pay for the private test since he is submitting his sample? It says in his email previously that he is working to submit a DDC sample, and that was on Monday, the February 26th. Can I be the one who orchestrates the test and pays for it out of pocket?
What difference would that make?
I would like to pay for it. I would like to be the one who provides the number for him to go and take the appointment.
So we'll do a third test and make it even more confusing?
I would like that. Yes, sir.
Talk to Mr. Kearns and see. I'll let you do. If you can convince Mr. Kearns to do it, that's fine. But otherwise, we need to get testing done. I mean, that's not going to probably help us move any faster.
Yes, sir. Would we not be able to complete it through the OAG, through the office for the state that my sample is already provided there? Would we not be able to complete it through the state channels that were set forth for things like this?
What is she talking about?
We've been through this before. We've had, what, 2 or 3 settings? We've had the same issue with him being out of the country and them not being available, and that him having to set up the private test and him having to pay for the private test so that we can get this accomplished. Haven't we already discussed this many times already?
Sure, we have discussed that, but when you favored in that ruling of that, it was when he was not able to submit a new sample. He's going to have to resubmit a new sample regardless. I've already submitted 2 samples. I've submitted one to the state.
You finished?
But that is not the one we need.
Is it me, or is she just doing the same thing over and over again?
I don't know. I keep saying the same thing over and over again. I know you're emotional about it, but I just don't think you're listening to me at all either. I mean, they're not able to match it up. There's 2 different account numbers. You can call DDC, see if they can match it up. But if they can't, you're gonna have to retest because it's as if it was a whole new case altogether. I can't do anything about that. I don't control DDC. I understand you're frustrated with everything, but you're not listening to me, and I keep explaining the same thing over and over again, and we're not getting anywhere. I do hope you can reuse your sample because I don't want to waste your time, but they don't. Mr. Kearns is saying they don't have your sample because it didn't match up. They have record that you did a sample, but they destroyed it. Is what they're telling Mr. Kearns. So call DDC yourself instead of focusing on Mr. Matthews. Focus on your part of the sample.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
You keep telling me what Mr. Matthews is doing or not doing, but I haven't heard you do your part, which was what we talked about from the last time we were here, was that you were going to do private testing with the new account number. Now, I understand y'all had maybe some confusion about it or which account number it was, but that's what we talked about the last time. And I don't know. Maybe DDC is the one that screwed it up. I don't know. But call them and ask them. I can help you solve this problem. All right, reset to April 17th. Call them and see if you can. If not, you'll need to resample again, Ms. Morris. Ms. Morris, you're excused. You can press leave to exit the courtroom.